TNT joins Trump's anti-cartel coalition at historic Miami summit. PM Persad-Bissessar, only woman leader invited as U.S. launches Shield of the Americas military alliance. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has signed Trinidad and Tobago onto a historic hemispheric security alliance, joining the United States in a military-backed campaign against drug cartels and external threats to the Americas, a strategic partnership positioning Trinidad at the forefront of regional security cooperation. With Persad-Bissessar at his side, United States President Donald Trump yesterday signed a proclamation committing to the Americas Counter-Cartel Coalition, focused on using lethal military force to destroy criminal cartels, at the Shield of the Americas summit held at Trump National Doral Golf Course Resort in Miami. Only woman leader among invited heads. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar was the only woman leader among the invited heads of government, which included approximately a dozen leaders from South and Central America. Her presence underscores Trinidad and Tobago's elevated strategic importance to U.S. regional security objectives and the Prime Minister's strengthened relationship with the Trump administration. In the audience, she sat in the front row next to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who made history as the first U.S. Secretary of State to attend a CARICOM meeting, and U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, signaling Trinidad's priority status in the new security architecture. Brand new military coalition to eradicate cartels. In his address, President Trump announced a brand new military coalition to eradicate criminal cartels plaguing the hemisphere, pointing out the U.S. has been conducting kinetic strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean, resulting in a 96% reduction in drugs coming through the waters. He declared, "We're trying to find out who the other 4% are, because I think they're the bravest people in the world." Trump noted that Secretary Hegseth and representatives of 17 nations had formally entered this alliance, referencing a March 5, 2026 meeting where Hegseth hosted the inaugural America's Counter-Cartel Conference in Doral, Florida, signing a joint security declaration with 17 nations. Trinidad's Defense Minister Wayne Sturge was present at that earlier meeting, where he appealed to Hegseth to provide Trinidad with military assets to fight criminal organizations, a request now formalized through yesterday's coalition agreement. Lethal military force against cartels. The heart of our agreement is a commitment to using lethal military force to destroy the sinister cartels and terrorist networks once and for all. We'll get rid of them, Trump declared. He urged leaders to work with the U.S. to eradicate cartels and share intelligence. "We need your help. You have to just tell us where they are. We have amazing weaponry, as you probably noticed over the last short period of time, targeting bloodthirsty cartels." Trump stated the U.S. will help partner nations deal with bloodthirsty cartels that impose their will through murder, torture, extortion, drug trafficking, bribery, and terror. He said the U.S. has capabilities to launch missiles into cartel leaders' living rooms, noting many criminal organizations have developed sophisticated military operations. These brutal criminal organizations pose an unacceptable threat to national security. They provide a dangerous gateway for foreign adversaries in our region. "They're cancer, and we don't want it spreading," Trump stated. Military action required. Trump said every leader present is united in conviction that lawlessness cannot be tolerated in the Western Hemisphere. The only way to defeat these enemies is by unleashing the power of our militaries. "We have to use our military," he said, urging partner leaders to deploy armed forces against cartel networks. He noted some countries have great police, but even they are threatened by heavily armed gangs, emphasizing necessity for military-level force. Trump boasted the U.S. has the greatest military in the world and is adding approximately 10 battleships. "We don't want to use them, but by having them, nobody's going to play games." Coalition model. From ISIS to cartels. The president noted the U.S. previously formed a coalition to eradicate ISIS, and this new coalition will apply similar multilateral military cooperation to target cartels in the Western Hemisphere. He identified Mexico as the epicenter of cartel violence, with drug kingpins orchestrating much of the bloodshed and chaos in this hemisphere. Trump emphasized the United States will not allow hostile foreign influence to gain a foothold anywhere in the Americas, including in the Panama Canal zone. "We're not going to allow it. And together, will protect our sovereignty and security and our cherished freedom and independence. Venezuela and Cuba in focus. Trump boasted about ousting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, whom he described as one of the biggest cartel kingpins of all. We went right into the heart to come out. It was about 18 minutes of pure violence. And we took him out. We lost nobody. Not one person was lost, Trump said, referencing the January 2026 U.S. military operation. He said the U.S. is now working closely with acting Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez. The president disclosed the U.S. has legally recognized the Venezuelan government and recently reached a historic gold deal to facilitate sale of Venezuelan gold and minerals. Trump also signaled U.S. intentions regarding Cuba, which he described as at the end of the line, suggesting regime change efforts may be forthcoming. Joint Security Declaration. The America's Counter-Cartel Conference Joint Security Declaration, signed March 5, 2026, commits participating nations to expand multilateral cooperation to enhance Western Hemisphere security, cooperate on border security and countering narco-terrorism, advance peace through strength to address future threats, and join a coalition to combat narco-terrorism and shared threats. Strategic implications for Trinidad. Trinidad's participation represents formalization of security partnership that has already produced dramatic crime reduction results. The 42% decrease in murders in Trinidad during 2025, saving 257 lives, has been attributed in part to U.S. maritime operations disrupting Venezuelan narco-trafficking networks that previously flooded Trinidad with drugs and illegal firearms. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar's presence as the only woman leader at the summit, seated prominently next to Secretary Rubio and Secretary Hegseth, signals Trinidad's elevated strategic importance to U.S. hemispheric security objectives. The partnership provides Trinidad access to U.S. military assets, intelligence sharing, and operational cooperation that enhances capacity to combat transnational criminal organizations. The coalition membership also positions Trinidad within broader hemispheric security architecture addressing threats extending beyond national borders, from Venezuelan cartel networks to potential hostile foreign influence Trump referenced regarding the Panama Canal. The historic summit marks a defining moment in Trinidad and Tobago's security posture, formalizing strategic partnership with the United States that has already demonstrated measurable benefits through crime reduction while positioning the nation at the forefront of hemispheric efforts to combat cartel networks that have plagued the Americas for decades.